Welcome to Tiger Talk, your source for information about your hometown and surrounding area. Tiger Talk is brought to you by...
And Tiger Talk brought to you locally by Whistle Stop Donuts, Strain Beans Coffee House, Miss McLovin's Cupcakes on Lower Main in Princeton, Hancock's Neighborhood Market, Commerce Street in Katie's, delicious homemade goodness, and Perry's Floors and More.
Make the morning great with a stop at Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main Street in Princeton. Whistle Stop makes their donuts fresh daily, and they're ready on your way to work or school. They have a wide variety of fresh donuts, so you can surprise the office with a dozen delicious donuts. And remember, after 11 a.m., donuts are only $5 per dozen through August 8th. Stop by Whistle Stop today and enjoy a donut or a dozen. They're open 5 a.m. to noon, Monday through Saturday. Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main in Princeton.
All right, and at 8:04, it is Wednesday, and that means it is our extension program here on WPKY The Tiger during Tiger Talk, and I have the pleasure of welcoming into the studio, it is our agent for agriculture and natural resources, Mr. Shane Bogle. And how you doing today, sir?
I'm good, Ty. I feel a change in the weather coming.
It is coming. We've got a cold front approaching, and I tell you, kind of fall. We had a nice, mild kind of summer, I think, overall. Temperatures about average and normal, maybe some weeks below average, and now it just decided there at the end here to kind of pop up, and everybody's like, man, because I think we got spoiled a couple weeks ago.
We did,
beautiful weather
yes.
Came in. But, yeah, it's coming to high tomorrow, about 75, 76.
Yeah, I'll take that over this humidity, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure, and, of course, that means great weather for harvesting and wrapping up a lot of these crops.
Yes, we actually have had a pretty good harvest season, Ty. We've had weather favorable in those conditions. Of course, we had dry leading up to that, and we are seeing a little of the results of that as the kind of the mid-corn crop is starting to be harvested. The yields aren't what that early corn definitely was, but we are seeing harvesting still going on. Watch out for the trucks and the combines and the equipment on the road. We are probably about halfway done with corn harvest in the county, and we'll be switching, kind of transitioning corn from the south side of the county to the north side. So we was talking about that earlier.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick because I found it interesting. I'm not much of a farm beau, but you said north of the West Kentucky Parkway, I-69, it goes from limestone to sandstone. Of course, it holds more water.
It holds more water, and it adds about 2 weeks difference to the maturity of the crops and when crops can be planted in the spring. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting.
I never knew that. So that's just, and I've lived here 37 years, but again, didn't grow up on a farm, agriculture. So it's good stuff to know.
So tobacco harvest, we're about 3/4 of the way done with tobacco, so you're still seeing some scaffold wagons going up and down the roads and the smoke and that nice smell coming from our barns. It's hard to beat.
Especially when it cools off.
Yes.
I saw Jamie Cotton the other day, and I just thought, man, I've known Jamie for years, Jamie and Ethan, and I just wanted to sniff them, man. They smell so good, man. It's like, man.
It's not hard to get an excuse to stop at a tobacco barn this time of year just to get a smell. Yeah, that's right. That the fall in Kentucky is a beautiful time, and when the leaves start coming in with it, we've been lucky this year. We don't have any barns that have burned. That is
it happens every now and then.
It happens every now and then. Hay barns, we lose one of those every now and then in the summertime due to wet hay.
Spontaneous combust, won't it?
But anytime you have a open fire in the bottom of a barn, your chances of that happening. But that whole process is very well refined and controlled. This time of year, the barns are much tighter and better than they used to be in the old days. So we're not seeing that as often as even earlier in my career. Right. You would see about a barn a year, and this county would go up. But
you used to hear about it from time to time.
Yes. So we've already had some full season soybeans north of the county that has been harvested, and we'll be starting before long. Have you noticed a change in the double crop beans just in the last few days?
Just a little bit here recently.
And that hewn is starting to turn now just a little bit. So harvest is still going strong. So watch out on the roadways. Give those guys some space. Equipment comes in 3 sizes now: big, bigger, and biggest.
Right.
And the roads have not changed.
That's right. But it's such, if you've driven in Nashville recently, I mean, you come home, you get behind a big old piece of equipment. But roll your window down and just enjoy it.
Yeah, that's
crank
right.
The music up.
Go by one of those barns and roll your window down.
Right? I always do that. That's a must.
Well, Ty, we got a couple of good programs coming up. One large program I would like to spend a little bit of time on.
This is always a big one.
This is a big one, and for cattle producers or anybody interested in cattle production, our Master Cattleman Series will be starting October the 17th. The Pennyrile area is hosting that. We'll be rotating 10 sessions on cattle production. So UK basically breaks down cattle production into 10 areas, and we will have a 3-hour session every Tuesday night starting October the 17th for 10 straight weeks.
Wow.
Talking forages, cattle reproduction, feeding the cow herd, herd health, genetics, marketing. So 10 different areas that's broke down into, and it's all specialists from UK that will be coming in to, we're rotating between Marion, the rec center at Cadiz Recreation Complex, and the extension office out here.
So there'll be 3 different locations.
3 different locations, and the first night we're starting at the Ed Tech Center in Marion. And we'll kick it off. Everybody will come in. We've got a nice dinner planned for each night. We've got ribeyes 2 or 3 nights. A lot of local beef will be served through this. So, what are you going to serve at cattle meetings?
Got to serve it, man.
Got to serve beef at cattle meetings.
Gotta eat that big piece of meat.
We do have a lot of material that will come along with this program. So there is a registration fee, and that helps us pay for your meals and everything. $100 for 10 sessions. Good deal.
That is.
It's a good deal.
So $100, and you get all 10 sessions, and you get to eat?
You get to eat every night. A good hearty meal every night, and at least 3 of those will be steak.
Man, that you can't beat that, I don't think. That's fantastic. So 3 locations. Are the times the same each?
The times are the same. We'll be starting at 5:30 with eating.
Okay.
And then that'll give folks a chance that are coming in from work and doing stuff, and hopefully start the program around 6:15 each night, and get folks, because our specialists are driving. A lot of these will be from Lexington, and we'll try to do it earlier of evening to get them if they do have to drive back home that night. So, again, that starts on the 17th of October. If you're interested in registering for this program, it has been 2 or 3 years, I think, since we've had it locally, and this program may be phasing out. So, they're on to bigger, better things, and you can't run the same programs every year. So
this is for existing cattlemen. They might have new updates and learning, but it might be for somebody that said, you know what, I've got 30, 40 acres here. I might want to get me some cows.
We have a lot of that, Ty, and we have some people. I've got one particular producer that every time it's offered, he comes back. He said, I always pick up something else. It helps me refresh. He's not a full-time farmer. And so we've still got spots. We are probably 3/4 of the way full for registration.
Is there a limit?
We do have a limit, but I don't think we have to worry about it too much. If we get much over 35 people, we want interaction with the specialists. We want time for questions. We want it to feel
like where it's you can just talk casually.
Yes, and you get much more than that. It's kind of hard to have those kind of interactions. So, in our minimum, we have well exceeded that to be able to offer it for the specialist's time and driving. So that's not a problem.
Each session is 3 hours.
Thereabouts.
Wow,
yes,
that's great.
Yeah.
So you're going to get there about 5:30, and you'll probably get out by 9 o'clock.
Yes, maybe a little bit before. It depends on what the program. And one of the last sessions, we will actually go to a butcher shop. We go through the cuts of meat through the process. It's called the end product session, and that'll be one of the nights we'll finish up with a nice steak dinner.
Man, you're making me want to.
Well, and along those same lines, of course, we do have a forage session during that Master Cattleman. That's all things forages, but we do have a great organization, Ty, that I'm on the board of directors for here in the state of Kentucky. It's called the Kentucky Forage and Grassland Council. And, Ty, we're blessed in Kentucky with the climate that we have, the amount of rainfall that we have. We can grow grass.
Good grass, yeah.
And grass recycled in a ruminant animal means money. And the more days that we can have a cow out there grazing is money that's not coming out of the farmer's pocket.
Right.
So we do have a lot of programs with that Kentucky Forage and Grassland Council, and we have the Kentucky Grazing Conference coming up next month, and we're actually split it this year, Ty. It's hard for folks to drive across the state because most of the cattle production is eastern Kentucky. Well, we've got quite a bit down this way, too.
We do.
We have quite a bit. So we split that this year. We're actually doing the same program in 2 locations. We're doing one in Lexington. We're doing one at Hopkinsville.
Wow.
So the schedule for this meeting, it will be, Ty, and I meant to look at that date, the 17th of October is in Lexington. The 18th will be at the Christian County Extension Office. Will be the base for this. We'll be talking about weed control, soil fertility, and grazing management as part of a weed control system. So if we're letting our pastures go or overgrazing, we're going to have weed problems. So finding that balance there of not overgrazing your land, emerging technologies in weed control, mixed species grazing. So, out west that was a thing years ago that the cattle come through and then they brought sheep behind them to get what the cows missed and recycle. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We'll have our forage spokesman contest. Each year the state of Kentucky has a ambassador basically for forages that he tells what he does on his place, and then he goes and competes nationally, and we have winners very frequently from Kentucky, national winners. Brent White from Lyon County was one a few years ago.
Yes.
And so we will have the Forage Spokesman's Contest that day, too. So from 7:45 a.m. with registration to 4:15, all forage.
Wow.
So if you're interested in that, you can call the Extension office. We can get you the registration information. It is $40 just to register, or here is a deal, $50 to be a member of the Kentucky Forage and Grassland Council. So most of the time that's $25 to be a member.
You get 15 off.
So you get $15 off this year. And you get a monthly newsletter as part of that, and just helping us promote forages and put on these kind of conferences is what those funds goes to.
And I don't think people, realize that, when you got grazing cattle out there, and I know that, it's becoming more and more where you have grass-fed beef, and, it's important what goes in that animal.
Yes.
It can their whole nutrition, what the beef could taste like, it is very important. And not to say the lasting results of what that field and that grassland will be like after the fact.
Correct. I mentioned the rainfall in Kentucky, so erosion is a big problem in the state of Kentucky. I think part of Kentucky is in the mouth of the Mississippi River as we speak. So with keeping that good quality forage there on non-production ground, that's where most of the time you see cattle, is not on the prime ground where the tobacco raises 300 bushel corn. So you put cattle on it, but keeping a good quality forage on that, managing that, not only for the cattle but for good stewardship.
And it's a science, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's a science.
Yes, it is. A fun science for me.
Well, sure. It's a passion for you. I know it is, and it's interesting. It's interesting stuff, and that is great information, especially for cattlemen. So those two programs really go hand in hand, really.
They do, and it's a good time of the year to do that. Our forage producers and cattle producers are not as tied to grain production and, as a general rule, to grain production and tobacco as the other. You might have some grain farmers that got a few head of cattle, but for the most part. So it's a good time of the year. You're rounding up the season. Fall calving is going on right now. You're thinking ahead to spring calving. So come on out, be with us. Also, if any of our dealers or that wants exhibit space, there will be a trade show that goes along that day.
Okay.
Exhibit space is available for $250 for set up a booth and try to sell what you've got.
Good deal. And, of course, they can get in touch with you. I know there's other numbers on there, but you can get
There is. I'll leave this with you, Ty. You can actually register completely online if you would like to. And otherwise, that's what we would do if you call the office. So if you just follow the website here, it's basically UK Forage Extension at uky.edu. Takes you right to the main page. You can register for that. You can pay with a credit card if you so choose. And come and join us.
Big events coming up, and I know you are deeply involved with all this. And, you work hard at it, and folks, do watch out for these farmers that are out. There's still equipment on the road and machinery, so we definitely want to remind you of that. And we've got a busy month and things going on out at the office with our adulting and our things going on. We've been given those dates. Joni has her supper club going on, and just lots of good activities. So if you have any questions about any of these activities, call your UK Extension office. 365-2787 is the number to call. And it's a wealth of information, not just about the programs that they have on, but you might be, doing something for the fall. You could have bees inside the walls of your house. They can help you with that situation. My brother's got that now. So, call them. It's a wealth of information. We appreciate you, Shane.
Thank you
for what you do for us and all the agents out there. And we look forward to next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Okay, that's Shane Bogle, folks. He is our agent for agriculture and natural resources here in Princeton at our UK Extension office. 365-2787, the number to call. We'll be giving you more information about the Cattlemen's program as well as the forage meetings that are coming up. If you raise cattle, want to be or interested in forages, we'll let you know, and you want to be a part of both those programs. So thank you to Shane Bogle at 8:18. Stick around to Tiger Talk, because coming up, Janie